What is up, everybody, and welcome to another episode of the Daily Pill, a weekly live webcast sponsored by a parent company, Angel Home Care Services. And so tonight, I wanted to talk about an awesome article that I bumped into that I actually have. I posted it today, just below this video that you're seeing right now, or whenever it is that you're seeing this. Right, it's just below this video, and it's titled "What Families Talk About When They Think Beyond COVID-19," and it's a pretty cool article. I There's a couple of points that I wanted to talk about it. There's a lot of stats in there. Like the link to that article is actually on that post. But I'm gonna see if after I'm done here, I'm gonna repost the link on this actual thingamajig, right, on Facebook, so that you can actually just click it and go there, because it's just full of a lot of goodies, a lot of stats, which I'm gonna go through a few of them with you. So what families talk about when they think beyond COVID-19. Families staying at home have a lot to talk about, and there's a topic that they're not usually touching base on, which is the financial aspect of this. And one of the three points that they discuss is the fact of the economic challenges that have followed the actual condition, the actual issue with the virus and all its, the craziness and the deaths that it has caused worldwide. But there's three points that they mentioned there that I think I wanted to quickly talk about. And one of them is the fact that COVID-19 reminded us, right? By the way, we're not entirely out of the woods yet, so I don't want anybody to put their guard down, whether you believe in the vaccine or not. There's something to look into. Still take precautions, still wear your mask. This is not over yet, but it looks like we are seeing, at the very least, some light at the end of the tunnel based on the numbers that have come out of the CDC and major world health organizations lately. But so 3 points. The fact that COVID-19 reminds us that we're not invincible. Invincible. All right, we're not invincible. We shouldn't forget that. That the crisis, it's over, but we still need to. I think we've learned a lot throughout these this whole year, and at the very least, at least I'm reminded that what we consider to be as normal and as a status quo, it's not really. It's never guaranteed. If you step a little bit back from the public health crisis, if we can do that, then we can, that's what happened first, right? But then there's even a bigger financial issue behind the whole thing. Most Americans went into the pandemic on shaky financial grounds to begin with. A lot of them unprepared to cover even the smaller of emergency or surprises, right? And much less the larger expenses, both medical and due to loss of jobs in many, and businesses in many instances. That is something that affected a lot of people a lot. Like, no one could have seen this, and I think that there's a lot to learn collectively on that experience, whether financially you were solid or you actually did better or you didn't. There are lessons to be learned in that regards. The second point that article was talking about was that we all get old, and we all need to prepare for that. The fact that and by the way, we all get old as a matter of fact, right? That's just what happens. Time doesn't wait. But when you are stricken by a disease or a condition, that happens a lot quicker, and everything moves a lot faster. Everything. And if you've ever being sick or diagnosed with a serious condition, you know what a mind job that can do on you, right? Or on a loved one, if you know somebody close to you that's going through something like that. But a funny stat is, according to the Department of Health and Human Services, someone turning 65 today has almost 70% chance of needing some type of long-term care services and support in their remaining years. That's just a not assuming an acute condition that could exacerbate those kinds of requirements, right? And the fact that the other thing is that we think that we're different, right? That, oh, well, I'm not going to be part of that statistic, or that won't happen to me. And almost always the moment you say that, something happens, right? Even just look back in your life. I know I have on mine. And every time that I say, well, that's not going to happen to me, sure enough, something happens along those lines, which goes to show you that we're special and we're different, but we're not that special and we're not that different at the end of the day, right? So why not plan, right? Why not plan smart? And that's what the third point that they talk about in that article is, which is that the time to plan for the future is now, both from a health and personal, from a health and personal approach, right? But also financially as well. Almost never do you see a disconnect between is something that happens to you physically or medically or health-wise that's not necessarily good. There's almost never a disconnect between that and your finances, right? The only times that you can actually see less of a financial impact on a medical condition is when you are either very, very, very wealthy, right, which most of us are not, or you're very, very, very well prepared, and you took steps to foresee the possibility of a chronic condition. It's hard to predict an emergency, right? That could happen to anybody. I'm not talking about a broken leg, I'm talking about a serious chronic condition, a terminal illness that comes out of the blue, and almost always has the tail end of that has not to mention the impact on lives, right? Your life and the lives of your family, but there's also a financial impact, and that's usually the dark horse, right? It's usually that sucker punch you never see coming because you never had to. There's never been a reason for you to even contemplate something like that. But this article talks about the ways. And by the way, the whole website, and in that article, when you finish it, at the bottom there's a bunch of links, all having to do with what I'm talking about: planning for long-term care, and how to. And by the way, you don't have to be. In my case, for example, I'm 52 years old. I consider myself pretty healthy, but my parents are in their 70s and 80s, right? And my grandmother's still 100. It's 102 actually, right? But the fact that we're in the business, that I'm in this business, helps me to just be a super pre-planner and kind of have a different viewpoint on what works and what doesn't, what needs to be done, and what just gives me a different viewpoint than if I wasn't in it. But I'm still impacted by the same needs, dangers, and pitfalls as anyone else, because my parents are at an age where I have to start making sure that they're making sure, and they're pretty good about this, that they're making sure that that they're taking care of themselves, that we're playing 3-5 moves ahead and not just one move or just no moves ahead in terms of their health, and how to prepare for the inevitable, right? And that in the short term means convalescence. They were smart enough to be able to do a lot of long-term care planning when they were my age, so they have that financial aspect of it covered. But there are a lot of people that don't, and they did it at a time when they were healthy enough to be able to be insurable by almost any company, and they've been able to just make sure that they shore up their financial world, because let's face it, as we get older, the two main factors, especially at their age, is running out of money during their retirement, or running out of money during retirement because of a health condition. All right, and so these are very, very real scenarios that could happen to anybody. And I know that you've heard this 1,000 times, and I know that prevention doesn't sell very well. Nobody wants to talk about this stuff. But the thing is that you don't have to talk about it all day long. You look at it once, you take steps, you talk to the right people, and then once a year you kind of touch base on that to make sure that everything's okay. And it's really easy to do, right? So anyway, I'm gonna stop here because there's so many good links on this piece that I'm just gonna let you do most of it, of the browsing yourself if you're interested. And there's a pretty cool the calculator that calculates the cost anywhere in the US of what a home care services, what you're looking at for home care services, for community and assisted living, and for nursing home facilities. I was messing around with it, and for 2021, just to give you an idea, the monthly median costs in the Miami area in South Florida for home health aid, at an average, they calculate this at an average of 44 hours a week, and at around $19 an hour, right? So if you needed to take care of a parent, it requires more than 40 hours a week of care to have an aide at home, you're looking at almost $4,000 a month, $3,800. As far as assisted living facility, an ALF, you're looking at around $3,500. An adult daycare, about $1,300. And a nursing home at around a private room, if you want them in a private room, about 10 grand. If you want them in a semi-private room, about $9,000. This is today, this year, at the baseline of how they calculate costs statistically, right? So it's a pretty decent, it's a pretty close number to the reality of what Americans, actually South Floridians, in Miamians, are looking to spend if they needed to care, they needed to care for their parents or loved ones, or a loved one for these services, for three types of services, which are the ones that are the most common anyway. And so take a look at that, because that calculator is actually part of the link. It's in the link in this article I'm talking about. So take a look, just mess around with it. And then if you have any questions, hit me up. If you wanted to at least figure out who you need to talk to start looking into long-term care, strategies, whether it's time for it or not. Believe me, the time to buy the umbrella is when it's not raining. All right. If you got to buy it when it's raining, you're going to get wet because you got to get out of the car and go into the store and buy it anyways. Why do that, right? Buy your umbrella when it's not raining yet. And that's what I'm asking you to do here. Just take a little time and look into this and take a look at all these resources. And if you don't know where to start, give me a call and I'll give you a hand. And if I'm not enough, then I'll put you in contact with someone that can give you a better hand than I can. So anyways, I'm not going to keep talking. Take a look at the link. I'm going to put it on the notes right now when I'm finished. And then, just take a few minutes and, get ready for the inevitable. All right. Talk to you soon. I'll see you next week. See ya.